Hello everyone and welcome to another video for Dragon Ball Super Fusion World. Today I'm going to be doing my own tier list, although I'm going to be doing it in a slightly different perspective, whereas I know a lot of people have been getting their ideas as to what's going to be the top ranked, what's going to be the top deck of the meta, and what's going to be the most dangerous. For me, since I'm not by any means close to being a meta tier player, um, I'm going to come at it from my own angle. I am, for the time being, a Vegeta, blue Vegeta leader player, and I don't see that changing until maybe a blue Piccolo leader comes out, or maybe Piccolo in any color, but I'm not sure. I really like Blue's playstyle, so I'm really hoping when they do bring Piccolo as a leader, he becomes blue. But anyway, I'm going to be looking at all the leaders from that perspective of a Vegeta player. And since I only play the client, I haven't had a chance to see any of the new decks or combinations in action. Not really, anyway. I saw one video, but I wasn't really paying too much attention. Um, so for me, I have my just 3 scales. For me, the lowest scale is I'm kind of doing this from what would Vegeta think of these leaders. One, the lowest tier is he'd scoff at them. He's not really worried about facing against going up against them. And I'm not saying these decks are necessarily bad, but from my point of view, I'm not really worried about them, or I'm not necessarily excited or anything like that. The middle one is the best tier. That means I'm eager. I'm really eager to see how Vegeta plays against any of them. Seems like it'd be a fun back and forth from the cards I've seen. And finally, the last one is annoyed. This one is going to be decks that I think, as a Vegeta player, based on my experience so far, only with set 1, how annoying they're going to be to play against. These are the ones I'm not looking too forward to facing. And like I said, since this is before the client, the cards have been released, set 2 has been released on the client, this could easily change. I can update this later and say which cards turned out to be, maybe one that I thought would be super annoying turns out to be not that. I don't have to worry about it at all. But anyway, here we go. So to start, I guess I'll just start with Vegeta. Since I am a Vegeta player, I'm going to put him in eager. Naturally, I am super eager to see how Vegeta plays against Vegeta. That's always, mirror matches always usually pretty fun in any game you play. And yeah, I'm just eager to see how Vegeta stacks up, not just from Vegeta's perspective, but I want to see how far I can get with Vegeta against other decks, but I am interested to see how he plays against himself. And I can see maybe any tip, if I play naturally, I'm sure they're going to be better Vegeta players than me. I can maybe pick up some pointers from them, or learn, or maybe I find out maybe I'm better than I think I am. Who knows? Most likely not, but So I'm just super eager to play against Vegeta. Next, I guess we'll go with the rest of the starter deck leaders. Starter Goku I'm eager to play against. He was always a fun matchup. He's always been a fun matchup in set 1. I think Red's kind of annoying against in general, but I don't think starter Goku is really that insurmountable for Vegeta. So I'm super excited to see what improvements starter Goku gets with these new cards. I know some people said he's probably, aside from Beerus, he's probably the lowest red leader in with this coming set, but still I'm excited to see how Vegeta plays into him and see if anybody can make starter Goku, super awesome. Because he is super awesome. He's probably my second favorite leader in the game. And next, I will do Broly. Now, Broly is either at the top end of I'm eager to pushing that potentially annoying. Because as a Vegeta player, I hear Vegeta's supposed to be really good against Broly, and for a while near the beginning when I started playing the game, I said, okay, he's actually not too bad, but I think Broly players picked up on how to play against Vegeta, so it's become super tough to win against him as a Vegeta player. And I don't really see set 2 necessarily being a lot better in that regard, but since Vegeta got a lot of new support this game to up his power, Broly can't just super combo out of, or giant meteor out of even Vegeta's high power attacks. With the new Bulma especially, yeah, he's going to need at least 2 cards almost every time to get out of one of Vegeta's attacks. And so that's why I say I'm eager to see exactly how much Vegeta has improved against him. But I could potentially move him up to, I'm kind of annoyed about that thought of going up against him. But I'll keep him at eager right now just to see, and I might change it as I go through the list. Now, finally, we have Frieza. I'm actually eager to see how well Vegeta matches up against him, because Frieza is kind of a hit or miss. I usually honestly lose a lot of my matches against Frieza, but I don't feel like I lose by that much. So maybe it's just me misplaying here in like one turn or something. So I'm thinking there's just something. In my case, I think it's just the player, not necessarily the matchup. I'm just not playing Vegeta as optimally as I could. So for me, that will. I'm eager to see especially with the new buffs that Vegeta got, and even Frieza to a lesser extent. From my understanding, he didn't get as many um, obvious boosts, but I know some people say that they just need to change the strategy a little bit with Frieza. So I'm interested to see, I guess in that sense, if the Frieza does have to change the strategy a bit, how that's going to play out, and how Vegeta will match up against it. Because I guess for me, Vegeta, my initial thought on how to play him is really just attack every turn. If nothing else, take 1 damage every turn. And while I think that should be a solid enough strategy for these starter leaders, and that's why I'm eager to play against them and see what happens. All right, moving on to the set 1 leaders. Guess we'll start with blue, Future Trunks. I'm not saying, again, Scoff doesn't necessarily mean the deck is bad, but I've lost to Trunks before, I'm not going to lie, but I've never really felt like, it's Trunks fighting him again. I've always felt, fairly confident in going up against him as Vegeta, and I don't see that changing too much in set 2 since he didn't get a lot of specifically Trunks buffs. I mean, he got any buffs that Blue overall got, but there's nothing that specifically went towards Future Trunks aside from that 4 cost Vegeta that can put a card to the bottom of the deck, which I think is pretty good. I might actually try this Future Trunks in this set 2 at some point. Partly because I finally started watching Dragon Ball Super, or starting it up again, and I just finished the Future Trunks saga last night. So, I mean, he was pretty awesome in that. Though, so many questions on the whole time travel in that series, but we're talking about the card game here, so I'm interested to try a Trunks build at some point, because I do like his ability. I think he's pretty cool. I just never really saw much interest in him in set 1, but now that I've seen the series, that's kind of given me inspiration to give him a shot. But as Vegeta, I'm not too worried about going up against him. I think they could be evenly matched. Even he's like at the high end of Scoff, potentially eager to fight. I think I'm more eager to play as Trunks than I am to play against him. That's why I just kind of put him under Scoff. My next leader is going to be Universe 7 Goku leader. This one is going to be our first annoyed. I'm annoyed when I think about going up against him. As a Vegeta player, Universe 7 Goku can be annoying to fight against, but I haven't been fighting him as much recently, and I'm starting to pick up on the strategy that Blue does not need to awaken very fast. Maybe by turn 3 or 4 was when you should be awakening. So having a Mai on turn 1 to get 2 cards isn't necessarily an ideal or an optimal play. And that's I'm thinking what was the problem when I was going up against Universe 7 Goku is that I was awakening myself too soon, and since I kept attacking into him, he awakened himself super fast, and then he had a bunch of 20k attackers against me. You just drop a bunch of TNs, let's say. Plus, being red, he can just wipe off anything that's on my board. That's my main annoyance with red, is that they can just wipe up anything. They can not only attack you, but they can wipe out your board without having to attack into your other cards most of the time. And I mean, you could say any deck can get rid of cards on the board, but red has the benefit of putting a more so than the others. I think they have the benefit of putting a card, getting a body on the field while getting rid of your cards, whereas blue has to play a card, let's say like Sinister Sickle or the upcoming Absolute Lightning, but they don't get any body to follow up to also attack into the opponent's leader. So, and with that new Frieza, that looks like he's going to be really, really powerful as a one cost. I am not looking forward to fighting against him as Vegeta, but I mean, as a Vegeta player, I'm never going to back down from a fight against Goku. So um, I annoyingly look forward to fighting against Universe 7 Goku. Let's just end it that way. Next will be green. Let's do the androids because I'm not an androids fan at all, just as characters really. So I think androids kind of fall under that same. See, I'm either want to scoff or be annoyed by them because I've seen some of their new support and it seems like they could be super super annoying. But as playing them right now, I'm not too worried by them most of the time. Mostly because I hardly ever see the androids, so I don't have a lot of experience. But since I don't like them as characters, I'm just gonna put them in the annoyed pile for right now. And with their ability to ramp super fast and super high and super fast, yeah, super fast, I'm not too eager to go up against them, especially with that new Android 20 that can restand both the leader or the double striker. That's going to be annoying to go across. So I'm really just going to end it there. Although I'm not going to lie, for some reason I'm intrigued by their playstyle, and kind of like Future Trunks, I'm more intrigued to play as them. Excuse me, I'm more intrigued to play as them, which is weird because, like I said, I really do not like the androids as characters. I thought they were awful villains, but anyway. So I'll put them in between annoyed and scoffed for the androids. Just they're not really eager to fight against them. Let's see. Next would be Captain Ginyu. Let's see, Captain Ginyu. Everybody says Captain Ginyu is terrible, but Captain Ginyu can be super deadly against a blue player because they just throw out bodies at you, attackers over and over and over. Even if you don't necessarily awaken very fast, you still have to. They can still just keep attacking. And with Captain Ginyu, he can restand the cards. Although I've only seen like one person ever use his actual ability. So I guess because I don't expect to see a lot of Captain Ginyu. I guess I'll put him under Scoff. Not necessarily that I think he's a bad deck, but I don't expect to see a lot of him, so I'm not too worried. He can be annoying, but I have one against Ginyu too, so I'm not going to say that he always beats me or something. I just don't have a lot of experience. So I'm going to keep him at Scoff, but, again, I'm not saying he's a bad leader. I've never used him myself, but he's just not at the top of my list. I'd rather play, in yellow, I'd rather play like Frieza, for example. Now, finally, that was the red, blue, green, yellow. All right, so next we're moving on to the final leaders from set 1. Starting with red, Beerus. Beerus, annoying. As a Vegeta player, Beerus is one of the most annoying decks because they Beerus is remove your opponent's deck. The strategy that red normally has of minusing your cards to death, but times 2 because his leader ability actually lets him minus 10,000. And so let's say your ideal attackers from set 1 is most of the time you're going to be using Kid Trunks, Super Saiyan Kid Trunks, who's 15k on your opponent's turn. Beerus just minuses him to 5,000 and then uses a Whis to destroy him. So that's just super annoying in general. Then he's got Fua, Hit. I mean, he can get rid of 15k no problem, even 20k. Getting rid of the Double Striker isn't too much of a hurdle for Beerus. He minuses him 10,000, uses Whis, and then plays 3-drop Secret Rare Goku to get rid of him. So for me, yeah, Beerus is the epitome of annoying for red for me because of red strategy. He's like the epitome of red strategy of getting a body on board while getting rid of yours, so he can still attack with all of his players into your leader. And yeah, he didn't have to waste any attacks to get rid of your board, basically. Most of the time. I have beaten Beerus too. I've beaten all of these leaders. I have been beaten by all of them too. So I'm not saying that I'm invincible against any leader or anything, but but from a lot of people say Beerus isn't getting a lot of support, but I don't know. I wouldn't underestimate Beerus. A lot of people made that mistake at the start of set 1, and he became super annoying. I'm not saying I know he always looked annoying to me, but I just, obviously, as a guy who's never played, who just started playing Fusion World, and I was like, oh, Beerus, okay, he's not too bad. Then when people started picking up how to use him, he became super annoying to fight as Vegeta. I'm hoping with set 2 that Vegeta's buffs can help him overcome, the God of Destruction. Moving on to our final blue leader from set 1, Goku Black. Goku Black, he's another one since I've just seen the Future Trunks saga. I'm more eager to try than I am to fight against, because he can be super annoying. Everybody always seems to be able to use his actual ability to summon 6-cost Goku Black on their turn 4. And to be fair, I've never used Goku Black as a leader because I kept drawing. I mentioned in another video, I kept drawing 6-cost Goku Black when I was looking for Mize. So that really annoyed me and turned me off to using any Goku Black type cards for a long time. But after seeing the Future Trunks arc in Dragon Ball Super, or Future Trunks Saga in Dragon Ball Super, I'm super eager to try him out as well, in addition to Trunks. Not as much excited as I am for Trunks, but I think he has a lot more synergy in this one, which to me is probably going to make him a little more annoying. But I have beaten Goku Black again. I've beaten him, I've lost to him. When you lose to Goku Black, you really lose to Goku Black. Most of the time it's because they got the best play possible and they just steamrolled you as a Vegeta player. So I'm going to put him at the very low end of annoying. I'm not really too annoyed, but I also see the potential, so I'm not going to scoff at him, because he seems to have a lot. I think his strategy has been more streamlined, so it's easier to get to. It's been fine-tuned. I don't know if streamlined or fine-tuned is the better word, but, choose which one you want. Our last green leader from set 1 is Gohan, Adolescence. Gohan has always been super annoying because of his 5-drop Goku. His 5-cost Goku, or Selku, as everybody calls him. And since I stopped running Final Flash because of, I hate that you have to discard for Final Flash. It shouldn't be if you're only getting rid of a 5-cost or less, just make it a 2-cost or something. I don't know. Make it a 2-cost normally, or have the -7 effect be you don't have to discard a card from your hand or something like that. But if you're getting 5-cost or less, you shouldn't have to discard from your hand. And since I took that out, it's almost impossible to get rid of 5 cost 5 cost Goku on the board. And with this new set, however, using the Vegito in combination with Sinister Sickle, or even just using Absolute Lightning, you can easily get rid of. I say easily, but still 3 energy in either case to get rid of that. And that's his main engine. If he doesn't have 5-drop Cell, his strategy really takes a hit because he needs that in order to be able to use his ability efficiently. And he's still dangerous, don't get me wrong, because he can power up to be just as strong as Vegeta. But Vegito doesn't lose. He doesn't have to give up something in order to activate the ability. He just has to. It's just dependent on how many cards you have in your hand. Which I guess you could say you have to give up cards in your hand, but since a lot of blue cards have that limit anyway, you're not giving up too much specifically for the leader. But Gohan, you have to give up your energy, and that's really important for green. Obviously, that's their whole thing. So actually, I guess again he's tied with Goku Black at the low end of being annoyed because I think with the removal, the easier access to removal that Blue has, he's not going to be nearly as efficient as he used to be. But who knows? He's still green, so that could really bother me. Next is Cooler. I really like this picture. Not to say his alternate art is bad, but I like, obviously this is a reference to the movie when he's dashing at Goku from the waterfall. Don't get a lot of experience with Cooler, so I'm going to put him as Scoff. I've lost to Cooler, but I've also beaten him pretty bad, so there isn't too much to say because he didn't really get any Cooler specific cards and that require Cooler to be your leader. He didn't get any of those, so he's probably going to play similarly to how he did in this set, but I'm eager to see what other people do with him to see how good he can become. I want him to be pretty good because I'd love to use him. It's just right now he's not bad right now, but I guess I've really only used the starter leaders. I should admit that I have all of them, the set 1 starters, set 1 leaders, but I really just use the starter ones because I have the starter decks in real life, so I was able to use the code to get their decks. And I just use them to get the dailies every week, one with each, green, red, and yellow, and then blue I'll just pretty much use the rest of the week to do my daily missions. Like I said, yeah, Cooler. I hope people make good use of him, and like I'm more eager to see what people do with him than I am to actually play against him, I should say. I don't know if that necessarily means maybe I should put him in eager then. Because if I'm eager to see what people do with him, then I'm eager to. I won't know that unless the best way to do that is to play against him. So he'll be my first non-starter that's in the eager category. Moving on to our new set 2 leaders. Start with Tournament of Power Goku. Let's move him straight to the top of. He looks super annoying to fight. I'm super annoyed when I think about fighting him. Now, this is just me being, the Vegeta player that I am, the not super strategic player that I am. I'm not saying Vegeta players don't think strategically. You have to in order to play blue in general. But in my mind, I see Tournament of Power Goku as they will basically they're just gonna do the best they can to awaken their leader as fast as possible, which means they're probably not going to attack into your leader outside of using their own leader. And they may not even defend themselves when you attack as Vegeta, so they're going to get to 3 life super easy, have tons of cards in their hand, and then just swarm you with using Goku's ability when he's awakened. And while they may not attack you very much, you still want to keep. I guess that's not necessarily the worst thing. I think this somewhat makes it that you want to have a double striker in Vegeta's deck, but I'm really doing my best not to run him a double striker because I don't like the 0 combo, and in my case it's just bad luck. I always draw them when I don't need them. I've only once, maybe and count how many times on one hand I've been able to use double strike Vegeta effectively and on curve and at the exact right time to overpower my opponent. Again, that could just be me being bad, but a lot of the time, if I had drawn the Vegeta instead of the turn before, instead of getting it like right before I'm about to die, I would have probably won the game. But for me, like I said, he's just gonna not block anything and just keep collecting cards in his hand. So then he usually spends 1 energy, discards 1 card to summon Kefla, to summon another card, and then he's just gonna swarm you. And since he's not going to be attacking with his cards at the start into your leader, he's probably going to be attacking with the leader so he can keep getting cards in his hand. He's going to be building a board by the time he awakens, and then he's just going to swarm. Thankfully, Blue has Sinister Sickle and Absolute Lightning to get rid of cards, and the 1-cost Zamasu from set 1. So that helps alleviate some of those early, board members, and then Goten 2 can send the smaller things up back to the hand and things like that. But yeah, I guess I'm not a fan of sending things back to hand in general because it's just combo power most of the time. But if it gets them off the board, I guess, and they have to combo, use it as long as it's out of their hand. Yeah, I'm just not super excited. But I'm again, Vegeta never backs down from a challenge against Goku, so I'm going to do my best. Try to prove that Vegeta is the superior leader to any Goku. Next, I'll move on to Blue Vegeta. I am eager to see how he plays out, not just because he's Vegeta. Kind of funny that yellow-colored, yellow-haired Vegeta is the blue leader, but blue-haired Vegeta is the yellow leader. Yeah. Just a little thing I thought, if somebody says, I want to play Vegeta, I want to play yellow Vegeta, I want to play, or they want to say, I'm going to play Vegeta. Oh wait, which Vegeta? Blue Vegeta. Okay, and then you actually mean the leader, or you mean the leader instead of this one, so they're expecting you to play a yellow deck, and then you start playing blue, and they're like, wait a sec. And I guess if you want to try to play some kind of mind game with your opponent like that, but that's really only works in person. Yeah, I guess your friends or something. But anyway, I just think it's a funny little thing how that worked out. Anyway. See, I'm not entirely sure how to make this, because this Vegeta seems very defensive because of his ability. I can see it being super broken in as more cards come out, that you can play, maybe you can start getting attacked somehow attacking on your opponent's turn. And if you have a certain amount of energy, you can attack with your leader or something on your opponent's turn, and this would be super annoying. But for right now, and he's more defensive, and since Vegeta can, with Sinister Sickle and Absolute Lightning, just take out the board that they have, because most of the yellows just can't be KO'd, but they can still be bottom decked. Yeah, I'm eager to see what he can do, but he's between an eager and a scoff. But since he's Vegeta, I'll put him at the low end of eager. Oh, I guess I went out of order. I just thought about it. I went Goku and Vegeta. But anyway, no big deal. I will go with Zamasu, fused Zamasu. Now he see, I'm eager. I'm also, he seems like he could be annoying. I'll try eager, because this is the one video I saw with two set 2 leaders. I saw Phil Plays TCG. Shout out to that channel. If I remember, I'll put a link to his channel in the description. I saw a video of, I think he was playing Fused Zamasu and his opponent was playing Blue Leader Vegeta. If I recall, Fused Zamasu won. But maybe it's just because it was the Vegeta, he wasn't able to get rid of Zamasu's board, which meant he couldn't really attack into Zamasu very much. And I don't see necessarily that being a problem with Vegeta, because he has Sinister Sickle, Absolute Lightning, and once Zamasu is fused, he cannot draw anymore. And if you're removing his his best method of drawing, which is that 4-cost to Zamasu, you can get rid of his draw engine and then attack into him, and he'll either have to defend or take the damage. Sure, you can argue he's going to be healing himself, but if you can get at least 2 attackers on the board, he's going to be, even if he blocks one of them, he's still wasting cards in his hand because I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. He's gonna have to be strategic about which cards he blocks, which attacks he blocks, which one he takes, even if he can regenerate himself. Because if he can't keep his draw engine on board, he's not going to have any cards to defend with. You get him down to 1 life, and you can keep. You can. I'm thinking you can theoretically keep him in that loop for a little while until you wear him out of cards in his hand. But I don't know. Maybe that's me being optimistic and not thinking it completely through. As a Vegeta player, I'm excited. I'm also eager to play as Zamasu again because I just saw Future Trunks saga in Super. So all of those characters I'm super eager to play as. And he's a blue leader, so he already fits into my color, just like Future Trunks and Goku Black. I really hope that prediction here that Majin Buu is going to be the blue leader for set 3, only because we have Majin Buu cards. I'd say Kid Buu most likely is going to be the leader, but hey, that's just me. I mean, I'm probably going to be wrong, but we already have Buu Saga characters in blue, and he's the only villain. We had Frieza in the starter deck / set 1, and Cell in set 2, so Buu makes sense, the final villain of Z, to make his appearance, and I think it just makes sense if it's a blue leader. I'd rather have Piccolo, but hey, Majin Buu's pretty cool, especially Kid Buu. Or it could be Super Buu with all of his different, maybe his awakened would be the Gohan Buu. Go-Buu? I don't know. Buuhan? Anyway, but going back to this, yeah, I'm eager to play against him as Vegeta just to see how he stacks up against other blue leaders. Excuse me. And finally, Cell. I'm going to move these around a little. Cell, I think he's going to be. I'm putting right here just to separate the Gokus. He seems like a super annoying leader. I'm thinking Broly plus for someone like Vegeta, because Broly, outside of that 6-life Gohan, he can't heal himself. Cell he can play the 8-cost Cell, but Cell himself, all of his cards are meant specifically to play into Cell leader. Cell leader. What am I trying to say here? All the cards that have to do with Cell are primarily meant to work with the Cell leader, and that includes the 8-drop Cell, who can heal himself. I can see that being super annoying, where he heals himself, you attack him to get him down to 1 life, let's say. He narrowly avoids your last attack. He uses a Cell, heal himself to 2, and sets it up so next turn, if you're only able to get 1 damage off him again, he'll heal himself with the 8-drop. Another 8-drop. But maybe I'm overthinking that, and he's only going to be able to play 1 8-drop Cell per turn because it is, if I recall, 0 combo power. So he wouldn't necessarily want to have too many in hand, maybe only a couple at most. And if Vegeta can boost himself high enough, he's going to have to defend to save his life, which means even if you can't get that 8-drop Cell, he may not be able to do much damage as long as you can keep your own life fairly high. He can only be able to attack, since he can only attack once, he can only take 1 life from you. The 8-drop Cell, not the Cell leader. Cell leader 2, actually. Can only attack, for 1 life, once a turn, but I think the 8-drop Cell is the most dangerous part of that deck. But yeah, so let me see if there's anybody I want to change. I'm annoyed to fight. I think about them and I think, to fight, Tournament of Power Goku, Cell, Universe 7, Goku, Beerus. Like I said, the androids, like I said, I just don't like them as characters. That's what annoys me about them. Goku Black, I guess I'll keep him, just have a blue leader here in the annoyed. But I guess I'm eager to play as him, more so than play against him. Gohan, most likely will still be annoying since it is green. I'm eager to see how Zamasu works to fight against him. Broly, I'm eager to see how much stronger Vegeta has become in order to see how he fares up against basically the meta deck of set 1. Goku, of course, always eager to go up against him. Frieza as well. Like I said, the starters, I just like I'm just interested to see how they all play and how to play against them, stuff like that. And Cooler, like I said, I mean, I'm really eager because I want to see what people can do with them with these new cards. Same with uh, Yellow Leader Vegeta. I really want to. I really want to see what kind of strategies people come up with. Just make him, super awesome. Because Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta is awesome. That's why. And finally, again, Scoff. Not that they're bad decks, but these two, I don't have a lot of experience with them, and when I do, I'm never really worried about going up against them. I guess I'm more annoyed by Ginyu than I am Trunks. So, but Trunks, like I said, I'm eager to play as all the blue leaders now because of the future Trunks saga. But anyway, that is my list. I hope it made sense to everybody. Again, this is just from the view of a Vegeta player. And let me know if if anybody feels the same way or differently in the comments below. And that'll be it. I might do an update to see how I feel now once, about a month or so after of matches. See if any of these changed, if I'm not worried about any certain decks that I was worried about before, or if ones I was eager to fight against have become super annoying, stuff like that. Or maybe some ones I thought it was going to be annoying, I really like going up against because I like the back and forth between the strategies. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. I'll also post my review of the set 2 blue cards down below.